guitar tool.
So where did you get this Dorado?
This is a 72.
Oh,
Yeah, Gretsch Dorado.
Oh, it's actually a Gretsch?
It's a Gretsch, yes. Yeah,
Wow.
by
Oh, yeah,
Gretsch.
by Gretsch. That's right. Okay. That's right. Oh, it's a Japanese one. Yeah, they make good
This is
guitars.
the first go around by Gretsch. Ooh,
Tune all the way up the neck. That's great.
Hit Records, Nightlife Video, Eddie Muentes in the house. Bruce Kulick, welcome to the show.
thank you. Thanks
How
for
you
having me.
doing?
Good.
A Brooklyn boy in the house. That's amazing.
This is true. Yeah.
First of all, you got such a background. You are a legend. Dealing with other legends, it's so amazing. What is it like being Bruce Kulick?
Yeah, don't make me feel old now, but it's, I've heard the legend thing, especially when I go overseas, Australia and Europe and all. I always loved music and playing guitar, and I felt very fortunate, of course, to have the opportunity to make a career of it. Many people, don't get the opportunity to do what they love to make a living, so that they can, afford, a home and things like that. So I've been very fortunate, and from coming from humble background and growing up in Brooklyn and Queens and all, and to be able to travel the world and to have people know who I am around the world is quite flattering for myself. But I take it really seriously, as well too. So I'm really respectful of the fans and appreciative. And I also, if I'm going to put my name on something, meaning a product or doing a session for someone, I want it to really be my best. So I take a lot of pride in doing a good job.
So how did this all begin? When did it start? At Brooklyn,
yeah.
something like that?
Yeah, well, it started, obviously watching, really I was almost 10, and the Beatles were on TV, and wow, I just like kind of freaked out, they were great, and my brother's a little older, so he was able to kind of share with me, the kind of amazing British invasion of such incredible groups like the Rolling Stones and the Who and Cream and all that into my the little bedroom we shared in Jackson Heights. We moved from Brooklyn into Queens shortly after. I was around 10 when we moved to Queens, but it was really great to really be see all that happen. Yeah, I was too young to go to Woodstock, but man, I knew every band on the bill. I was just such a fan, and I was and guitar playing and the whole world of how the classic rock movement really started, if you know what I mean. I was a big part of my childhood and my growing up. I got to see Hendrix, I got to see Led Zeppelin in their heyday, and my brother saw the Beatles. I didn't get an opportunity, but I finally met Ringo Starr a couple months ago, which was wonderful. So it's just been like my whole life, really. It's been my kind of like my hobby and my passion and my career. Being into guitars and the music that came out of. I think probably music that will be around forever. Obviously, it still is. It's amazing. Car commercial. It's Jimi Hendrix music. You know what I mean? Or the Who for a TV show. It's really incredible how that music will. The new record I'm really proud of. And actually, when you talk about what does it mean to be me, and all that, really, it's taken me. To do solo records in the first place was kind of like, for me, the first one, which I did back in 2000, was literally like jumping in the water for the first time. Going into when you're afraid of the pool and you finally get pushed in. And I really needed to do that. I had my years in Kiss, and then I had a band called Union with John Corabi. And even though we had a little bit of success, it wasn't going to continue. And I realized, I want to do my own thing for a little bit. You know what I mean? And I did that record. Then I did a second solo record called Transformer in 2003. But it was at the end of that when I met a good buddy of mine, this kid Jeremy, younger guy than me, but related to Bob Ezrin, which was great. Bob is a very famous producer, worked with Kiss and Pink Floyd and all these other bands. And he had this vision of making the best record I could possibly make, which would mean it would take me longer, it cost me more, and if you really want to strive for something and you don't compromise and you really have a high benchmark. We used kind of like the Revenge Kiss album as our benchmark, which is shooting very high. Ezrin produced that one. You realize you better have great engineers, all the performances got to be top notch, the songs should be great. So the record took, I mean, I started writing at the end of '03. We got serious in '06, '07 to start recording, but it took until February this year for it to actually be released. But it's one of those things where I'm 99.9% thrilled about every iota of it. You know, every note that's played and every piece of how the CD opens up and looks, and the photos and the lyrics. And I was so fortunate on this record. I didn't have the guts really to ask around some of my friends to would you appear on my record, but I was very fortunate to have Gene Simmons, his son Nick, Eric Singer from Kiss now also performed drums, Steve Lukather, such a famous guitarist from Toto, of course John Corabi, which he was in the band Union with me, Doug Feiger, who sadly just passed away this past February, the singer from the Knack, and Tobias Sammet, who's very popular in Europe and South America, a band called Ed Guy and Avantasia, killer singer. But these people all agreed to, perform on my record with me. And so I really feel like it was really the best of me with a little help of my friends, of course. And I'm just really proud of it. But the name BK3 for the record really came out. It's really my third solo record, and I wasn't trying to make anything complicated, but just explain, like, this is my third, and I really feel like, in a way, I feel like I hit a home run with what I was able to accomplish.
You most certainly did. Who decided which artist should be on which track?
It was really organic how it happened. So Jeremy, the guy that produced it with me, we didn't really know. We tried at first to write the best material we could, and it was clear to me I'm not known as being a frontman singer. I could sing some songs that fit my style, but we knew some of the songs we wrote. We got to get a Corabi or someone with a big voice to sing this, And it was very organic how it just developed. Obviously, asking Gene and him saying, sure, what about my son Nick? You know what I mean? And that kind of changed the whole, formula for the record now, because scoring Gene made me much braver to ask other people, because it showed, and just like any business adventure, that you get into when you have a good name attached to a project, other people will join on because they recognize that there's validity to what you're doing. So I'm very grateful for Gene to do that. Eric was really pushing, you gotta ask Gene, he'll be on your record. So sure enough, and the song I saved for Gene, actually, he was kind of like taking in a different direction. So okay, let's start with a brand new song, and then that song someone else sang, you see. So that's part of producing, though, and being creative, knowing what fits. I think I'm a pretty wise, reasonable person to go like, that's a good track for this kind of a person, and et cetera. So you got to follow your instinct, but it wasn't real hard. All the people performed it with us, lots of times even I do sessions for people. They just send me the files. I record it in a studio in LA, send it back over the internet, But everything on BK3 was done with Jeremy and I involved, which felt good actually. And I was just, amazed at everyone's contribution. I think they really came to the party. Nobody disappointed me at all, Not at all. I'll have to look for one of these. I can't believe how well it plays.
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
That was beautiful.
It was my New York rainy day, sonata.
Just jamming?
Just jamming. I like improvising like that.
Okay, let's take us back to the early days of Kiss. When
Yeah.
all of a sudden, Kiss is already formed and you're
Sure.
called into the group.
Mm-hmm.
What were your expectations?
Well, it was kind of unusual how I got involved with the band. I knew Paul. I only met briefly Gene. But I knew Paul because my brother knew those guys, and sometimes we socialized and would go out in Manhattan, you know. And I was kind of like a fly on the wall.